Okay, guys, I think we're going to get started here. Just a quick introduction. I'm Greg. I'm the CEO of Dark Fusion Holdings. It's great to be here with everyone. We appreciate you, our Vara ambassadors. And really, the purpose of this Q&A tonight is to give all of you an opportunity to ask some questions. I know we have our events that are periodically run. There might be a lot of questions around the roadmap and what's going on. So this is really the platform and the forum for you guys to ask the questions and get the answers directly from the executive team. Just a quick introduction. We've got Nick Vandenberg online, our enigmatic CMO. We've got Greg van der Spey, one of our strategic partners, and a crypto industry veteran. And we've got Mike Saunders, our Chief Technical Officer. So we've got a full suite of experts on the panel tonight who are here to answer your questions. So what we're going to do in order of process and format, we'll be running through the questions. There may be some questions that we won't be able to answer, given the upcoming promotional event that we'll be hosting in November. Remember, guys, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and we're very promotionally driven with our products and services. And there's a lot of innovations happening, so we don't want to let the cat out of the bag just yet. But if we can't answer the question, all those questions will be divulged in the upcoming weeks in terms of information. So let's get started, and we can run through the list of questions on the Q&A sheet. So I think the first question's for you, Mike. Just how open source will smart contract language be? That's from Mark Bolzern.
In terms of how open source, the technical nature of the protocol itself, everything will be made available in terms of the methodology and how to build simple contract language protocol contracts, whether that be token contracts, staking contracts, DAO contracts. And then we'll take it a step further with our layer one technology and actually open source usable code bases that developers will then be able to interact with. We've already got in our pipeline to have example code for languages like C# and JavaScript that make it a lot more accessible to the broader development community and not restricting users to languages like script and Rust.
Great, and just to touch on that point, we did mention it in our showcase this evening, is planned for an open source release at the end of the year, where we will be timing that with a media roadshow, announcing to the market smart contract language is now publicly available with all the respective repositories and information that will be released and disseminated. So that'll come at the end of the year. So some exciting things planned around that. The next question we have is, what date will the Battle Royale launch? So this was communicated in the showcase tonight. We will be in a beta phase starting as of now. We'll be rolling the product out over the next few weeks, and that will be communicated in the upcoming days. Then we will be going live with our $1 million tournament in December, also tied in with a strategic release of smart contract language. As mentioned, we're going on a big media blitz around this innovation and what we've done, and that's really going to be, the point of opportunity in December.
I'll pick up on this one, just a light touch there on Melinda Stark asking a question relating to, the ambassador portal and the various access packs that are available. Great question. The innovation in our compensation as well as the different packs, certainly if you are on a Moonbase pack, you're able to then earn immediately. So you've secured your access within the organization, and regardless of the pack that you're on, you're able to then sell all the various other access packs as well as the products within the ecosystem. So certainly you're not limited based on your pack. and we've facilitated the ability for you to be able to fast start regardless of the pack that you're on when you first join.
This is a good question. Hey, Greg, the video was quite short tonight. Can you elaborate on the Fusion One ecosystem a bit further? Yes, we can. Very exciting times. Obviously, we're unveiling something that's been in the works now for going on 2.5 years. We've got a special guest tonight who can give us an overview of the Fusion One product, talk a little to the product suite, and the significance of what we're actually delivering here. And I'll hand that over to you, Greg.
Thanks, Greg. So it's a very exciting possibility, and I don't want to get lost in the details of it, but it's important that each of the elements within the Fusion One play is defined as supporting methodologies and supporting products that are going to add significant value to the entire ecosystem. So, excuse me, what I mean by that is that we have systems in place to be able to support stablecoins. We have systems in place and tokenization structures for real-world assets. These are talking about securities, commodities. These are financial-based primitives or financial-based instruments that would live in a tokenized world that would be tradable within the DEX. Further to that, we've got complementary support in terms of our gaming side as well as DeFi side, the ability to support the token staking, the token contracts, as well as the earn models themselves. Each and every single component of this play is supposed to be solving one of the core problems within our traditional finance systems and within the traditional decentralized finance system. So these will be the likes of what we touched on very briefly into the in the release video in terms of the stablecoin framework. I need to be very careful I don't give away too much in this, but in the utilization of the stablecoin frameworks in terms of what that equips us to do from the underlying technology standpoint, in terms of servicing offline payments, in terms of being able to service additional products around the payments infrastructure. Everyone knows just the payments industry as a whole is a massive industry, and for us to be able to touch onto that with, among others, is a extremely viable use case. But the Fusion One ecosystem is fundamentally there to provide the base layer infrastructure to equip all of the additional products that we're currently working on and have currently built. I'm going to leave it at that without giving too much away.
Thanks, Greg. Certainly, I can pick up on the next question there from Sue Fieldman. Certainly, we have delivered on quite a number of content set within the ambassador portal. You're asking specifically around like funnels, contact lists for those personally recruited. There's actually some updates to the ambassador portal that will allow for you to be able to chat directly to your contacts now within your downline. So those solutions now have been updated. Actually, interestingly, over the last 2 to 3 weeks, you'll notice that there is a functionality now to be able to chat directly to your downline, as well as then as you're signing up customers, you're then notified on that basis. So there's been a lot of improvements around funnels, around marketing content within the back office. And sure, please ping me directly, and I'll take you through all of those updates directly.
Hi, Peter. I got Peter Blackwell's question here. Just to answer your question, so we will be releasing the game over the month of October, announced in the next couple of days. It's looking fantastic. The experience is really great. You guys are going to be super impressed, which is also tying into the launch of the Fusion One application in November. Again, there's exciting things around being able to earn Vara, stake your Vara in the application in November. We've got several earning incentives that we're going to be introducing to the network. This is also a leading question here around, one second, when the company will start earning revenue in terms of the bond system. That also kicks off in November. So subscriptions will be live. The bond mechanism will be live. So we have the Fusion One application, we have the bond system, And this is really the moment, guys. November is going to be a massive, massive event. It's all about R&D for the last 8 months. We've been head down in code, really changing the world of blockchain. And what we've created here is truly significant. And we can't wait to share it with you guys in November. We're doing a lot of firsts across the board. And this is also another question for Greg van der Spey. And maybe we could just talk a little bit about this, is, this significance of bringing stable coins into the Bitcoin ecosystem, and, effectively what EUSD represents as the first stage of that migration.
That's a great question. So essentially what we need to look at is what roles do stablecoins currently form in both the decentralized world as well as within the payment sector, right? So both as a medium of exchange, as well as in some instances a store of value, you have these payment instruments that essentially enable a broad range of additional functionality, right? So the important thing to understand is that migrating over the utility from a stablecoin capacity in terms of being able to service the likes of the Fusion 1 DEX, what this enables us to do is enables us to create, in line with the atomic swap model and in line with the liquidity pools that is currently on Fusion 1 DEX, it allows us to give an intermediary asset to transfer between. Now, what I mean by that is that when we start looking at cross-border settlement instruments in terms of being able to settle between countries in an international manner, what we tend to do is we tend to try and use a intermediary currency in terms of the transfer mechanism, right? By equipping this and by enabling this further, what it allows us to do is unbelievable from a standpoint of access, and more importantly, from a composability standpoint. So what it allows us to do is to tie into this world of decentralized finance and the utility of stable coins and what that means, and obviously the traditional finance world in terms of payments, settlements, and so on and so forth. The additional ramifications thereof is allowing us to build codified systems and applications that take advantage of these principles in terms of remittance apps, compliance and legal solutions in terms of settlements, et cetera, et cetera. So I also want to be very careful not to give away too much in that, but I hope I answered your question there, Greg.
Yeah, no, that was great. That was great. And maybe just to touch on, I see another question coming through, just the kind of compliance and regulatory process that we've gone through in order to make this a viable, secure, and legal going concern.
So there's a two-pronged approach to that. So the first and foremost is the underlying collateral that secures the EUSD asset, right? So this is a BaFin compliant ISIN. It is a security that's issued and held by Societe Generale. It is issued under the EPWG framework in Europe, and this is one of the first of its kinds to be a direct security to be issued on chain. Now, this is a very, very important step because from a legal perspective, especially in terms of upholding token holder rights, this becomes an unbelievably important exercise, and more importantly, an unbelievably compliant solution in terms of being able to not only uphold token holder rights, but being able to comply within the local jurisdictions as we hold. So I'm going to answer two questions in one here, because in line with the traditional frameworks and the securities that are that's being offered by regulators within the current climate, as well as South Africa, we need to fit under these crypto asset service provider license or the virtual asset service provider licenses in the foreign territories. And in line with that, there has to be compliance solutions and compliance requirements that is going to be able to service both the traditional world as well as the decentralized world. So this is a really, really big breakthrough in terms of the compliance requirements, being able to service these assets on chain, but more importantly, upholding token holder rights within a compliant environment, both from a local jurisdiction standpoint under the CASP, when the CASP licenses do become relevant, as well as the international sectors within the markets that we service.
Great. Thank you for that, Greg. Just to move on to some other questions that we have. This is from Mr. Ivy. Hey, Brandon. How much longer will we have to market the current packages, including the founder packs? So we will have, in the month of October, the new compensation plan will come to effect in the month of November. The dates are to be announced in the next week for that specific upcoming event, which is going to be a huge showcase, guys. We're also timing this with our media roadshow. It's timing with a lot of things that are going to be synchronized at the same time, including the open source announcement to the world of smart contract language. So you guys have now until the end of October on the Founders Packs. I do want to note that there is a limited supply of them. This has been communicated, and anyone that has a Founders Pack now and launches, who accesses the new application in November, will be able to stake their Vara tokens. There is a finite supply of them at this stage. So yeah, make sure that you guys check on the availability of those packs. We will be also announcing some really cool news around the Dark Fusion token, and this will be announced to the network in the upcoming weeks.
And then just to touch on that, Greg, I mean, to answer the questions related to that around the ongoing amazing product suite that we have communicated today, that is going to happen over the course of the following weeks, where we're going to take these Q&As directly as we have now today, and unpack every single financial opportunity that Greg van der Spey has mapped out as part of this framework. So very exciting content set that's going to be coming out over the coming weeks, as well as a number of additional follow-up webinars from ourselves to carry on with all of the various announcements that we've made today. So Brandon, yes, absolutely, we'll do an additional community calls as you've just asked now, related to everything that's been showcased today. Mike, I see there's some questions related to just the various geolocations. Do you want to just pick up on that in terms of accessibility of our various applications that we've had as a showcase of our technology over the last week or two?
Sure, Nick. Yeah, so we're aware of a couple of user issues in a variety of countries. That's not widespread. So just so you guys are all aware, we, across the various app stores, iOS and Android, we distribute the apps across all countries except for People's Republic of Korea, Iran, and Cuba. So if you are having issues downloading the app specifically in your region, please raise a ticket with our support. It's got nothing to do with geolocation specifically, or that you've been excluded intentionally. There's something to do, very likely, either device, operating system, or various accounts, and we will help you through that.
And then Greg, I don't know if we want to just touch on the question pertaining to the various USA piece, if that's acceptable to both yourselves and Greg van der Spey, just from Luke.
So I don't mind jumping in with this one. So what's important to understand is that where relevant, we will be applying for, or have started the application process for, all of the regulatory structures that is going to govern this ecosystem, right? And especially from a tokenization standpoint, we need to emphasize the level of compliance that is put in play solely on the basis of, if we highlight the SEC question, it's currently in a sort of undefined format, right? Vast majority of the current decentralized finance world and crypto world is living in fear of it, rather than sort of following standard best practice approaches and standard compliance requirements under a base set of assumptions. Now, that's certainly not to say that this is, we're expecting bad news from the SEC standpoint, but unfortunately, until such time that a regulatory framework can be defined of which we can comply, it's very difficult to manage that. So what we typically do is we follow best practice approach. This ensures that under every given standpoint, there is a absolute compliance with our KYC requirements, our AML requirements, us being able to service restricted territories, us being able to comply in terms of reporting, us being able to have inherent systems built in place with the applications that we build that prove real-time solvency. So this ties into a sort of an additional question that was mentioned in terms of the vulnerabilities. So we not only do we have mapping tools to be able to go through and test the defined product itself, but there is compliance requirements above that that give us a real-time overview on the basis that this is a blockchain. This data is freely available and publicly available, so it gives us the ability to provide extensive reporting. Now, where possible, we will start the application, especially so CASP is a good example. We started the regulatory process on our side in terms of the compliance and licensing frameworks that we need to do to service South Africa. But more importantly, this applies for all of the additional jurisdictions that we're servicing. Unfortunately, at this particular time, the SEC has not given us a governable framework of which we can adhere to. So we do follow a certain best practice assumptions and ensuring that there is investor protections, compliance requirements above and beyond that, while we continue to seek clarity from the regulators. Anyone that's been following in terms of the ETF news, ignoring the fake news that came out this afternoon that got everyone super excited. There is unfortunately a lack of clarity from the SEC side. And from our perspective, we will comply. We just need to understand what we need to comply with. So in the interim, we do have certain restrictions on the participation, but it isn't something that is to be concerned about, because one of our primary focus from a tokenization standpoint is the compliance that's associated with this. The product needs to be fluid and needs to work within the set restrictions set by the regulators themselves. And also we need to ensure that we comply with all of the reporting standards in order to ensure that we can service the broad range of jurisdictions under this.
Greg, also just touching on that, I'm excited. We've made some big announcements with SocGen, Society General. Hope they like that acronym of their brand. Do you want to just touch on that a little bit? It's been obviously the buzz in the office over the last couple of weeks.
So it's a very exciting thing to talk about. Fundamentally, what we're talking about is we're talking about an on-chain compliant issuance instrument. Now, that's a lot of words to describe a compliant on-chain issuance of a security. So if we start to look at the traditional ways in which securities are issued, this is something that is both fringe in nature and is something that has been in the works for many years from a compliance and regulatory standpoint. So being able to not only issue the underlying security on chain in the form of an ISN, so an international security identification number is essentially your social security number that is spread across the jurisdictions that governs and controls each underlying issued security, depending on the nature of which the nature and the jurisdiction of the security itself. But this is important to understand that this underlying framework that forms the basis of this EUSD currency is a secure compliance solution as a security issued on chain. Just that in itself is something that I know many partners within the decentralized finance world have been working on for years. Some have got rights to a certain extent, and I think that we are at the forefront of being able to offer these real tangible solutions in the form of real world assets and securities on chain, which further complement the entire Fusion One DEX ecosystem. That is unbelievably important, not only from a compliance standpoint, but also what we can do with the underlying security and underlying collateral as the next phase. I'm going to stop there before I give anything away.
No problem at all. Mike, just we've been chatting about this. Just there's one or two questions from some of our new ambassadors pertaining to card payments. Don't know if you want to just give an overview of all the security that we have in place around accepting card payments and the innovation we've made with the updates to the back office from a matching VP versus accrual VP. I think that's something everyone would love to know.
Sure, thanks, Nick. So I think there's quite a lot to talk about there, actually. So one of the big steps forward that we have implemented is a variety of credit card processes to facilitate a global audience. This is to serve our network first and foremost from a fees perspective. I know some of the South African cohort would have encountered a couple of issues in the past 2 days, which we did resolve today. That was facilitating ZAR payments instead of denominated in US dollars. So yeah, we're aware of an issue that has been fixed. But then that sort of talks to the second part of your point, Nick, around I think just generally how we are managing and governing potential fraud, end user protection themselves. So and The first thing to note is we're quite strong with our multi-factor authentication on payments. So in other markets, that's known as 3D Secure or 2FA. So we ensure that all credit card payments go through that verification, whether it be in your own banking app or through an OTP sent via SMS. And this also facilitates the security for us to be able to allow any sort of refund chargeback mechanism as well. So in order to protect us as a business, we're implementing essentially a 14-day cool-off period where this will allow users to act on their legal right to a refund if they change their mind, but also facilitates us being able to unbundle any fraudulent activity where points might have flowed up into the system. This making sure that we've got a very accurate reflection of our VP and we aren't prematurely matching until we know that funds are securely locked up away in escrow and allocated to the compensation plan accordingly.
I just wanted to follow that. This is all pertaining to credit card payments, as you know, we are beholden to the merchants and the acquirers and the banks themselves in regarding the process of funds. And when it comes to crypto, as we've promised since the beginning, those are daily instant payouts. This only pertains to credit card payments where there will be a cool-off period which we will be implementing, and this is to protect the business and to protect our customers.
Absolutely. And I think, if I may, Greg, just touch on some of the questions there pertaining to the subscriptions, as well as some of the questions around our staking rewards. I think certainly we're very excited to announce, Greg van der Spey, that we have delivered, and we will be delivering on a number of incredible staking reward mechanisms for what essentially is the existing founders. And I'm so pleased that we're facilitating the ability now for, you know, access key holders, existing Vara token holders, as well as the other components that we put together, really financial inclusion around what those pools represent. I don't know if you just want to touch on that now, as you've been the brainchild behind putting that together.
So the principle is fairly simple, right? The mechanisms by which we have built out allow additional yield in the form of staked assets to form part of a basket, right? Or an index or a risk spread basket. Now, what we mean by that is that there are multiple elements to this, right? And the multiple elements are spread across certain risk profiles and spread across different compliance protocols. So what's important to understand is that these different risk thresholds offer a compounding and diversified yield spread across the underlying security assets that we mentioned earlier, in the form of digital assets in DFT, in the form of Vara staking, in the form of key staking. And obviously, as this ecosystem progresses, that starts to look bigger and better with additional services and additional revenue, as well as additional tokens and what that looks like. So it's an important step forward in being able to offer this diversified yield product in a compliant manner that ticks all of the boxes and services and upholds all of the token holder rights.
Thanks for that, Greg.
And again, guys, a lot of information is going to be disclosed over the next coming weeks. We don't want to reveal too much now. There's also some questions around the contents of the updated packs. Again, that will be announced come November when we launch the product. So when we go live with this product, we'll be announcing the new updated compensation plan and the contents in the packs.
Very much so. And I see also that there's some questions pertaining to, you know, passwords, retrieval, etc. We could certainly link back our customer success team that will gladly take you on that journey for reset passwords. There is that functionality within the native applications as well as in the ambassador portal.
So just
any of those
as
questions we'll happily take. Yeah.
just some clarity around one question that I have here from Luke. Is the Vara staking in the Fusion app, or will the staking take place on the Vara app? So to be very clear, the Fusion One application is now the capture all ecosystem. This is going to be the decentralized exchange powered by Dark Fusion. This will be the decentralized application layer. This is where you'll have yield staking. This is where you'll have all the products built into this Fusion One ecosystem, where it comes to financial opportunities, when it comes to the product layer. That will be Fusion One. Vara is our sales affiliate layer, which is afforded all the opportunities built out by the Dark Fusion technology. Vara has the rights in perpetuity to be the exclusive sales arm of the entire Dark Fusion ecosystem. That's how we distribute the product. That's how we're going to propagate this whole story. Just in form of clarity, I come on as a Vara member, I sign up, and I have access to a product suite. One of those product suites being Fusion One, which you will download the application and you have access to the staking mechanics.
Greg, we obviously covered a number of questions there pertaining to, the staking rewards. I see Mike's asked a question around, the gaming ecosystem, Fusion One, decentralized exchange, and we've got a lot of content that's going to be coming out there now shortly pertaining to all of these components. As we've been saying, there is this incredible ability to be able to stake not only your access keys, your Vara tokens earned from the subscriptions from within the gaming revenue, and that's all coming online. So very much so tune in over the course of this coming week and next week as we unpack all of these questions that is pertaining to what we've announced tonight. And then also just there's a few questions pertaining to my segment of the showcase around the new plans. Those obviously will be broadcast in finer detail around what's coming and what you can expect from a sales perspective, from a compensation plan point of view, and how we're changing the game now with the inclusion of these financial instruments as part and parcel of the product offering. So just to give clarity there, absolutely, we will then go through the narrative around the various access plans that I made an announcement on, and that's going to happen over the coming weeks. I think just Keith there, just to answer that light touch question, certainly around the Star Vara Battle Royale application, that will take place where you're going to be able to get your links to download from iOS and Android. That will be made available to you as we go through the phase rollout. Not too sure there on specifically Chinese mobiles. Perhaps I'm unsure of those types of questions. Are you referring to the types of handsets? Mike, we're running on iOS and Android, so any phone that represents those two software platforms will be available. So any of the local brands within your region that supports either the Android operating system or the iOS operating system, we have made available the various native applications on that platform. Not so, Mike?
Yeah, Nick, I think that comment was actually follow-up for the distribution to Sweden, but
I see. Okay, no problem.
There's an interesting point you raise. So we sort of undertake every endeavor to ensure that our applications are as far backward compatible as we can feasibly go without subjecting ourselves to any inherent security risks. Typically across the various platforms, that would mean in the region of about 3 years for what the operating systems will support. So whatever version of Android or iOS you're running, if it's no older than about 3 to 3.5 years, typically you are can live with absolute certainty that the applications will be able to run on your device from the OS perspective. And then the game has performance requirements in terms of around about 4 gigabytes of RAM, which is fairly standard across the board for the last few years for devices. So yeah, pretty much backward compatible.
Greg van der Spey, sorry, just picking up on this one. There's a question related to the great work we've done collectively, and I don't know if you want to just touch on, the implementation of smart contracts, this incredible innovation around the Bitcoin blockchain ecosystem, just to give some clarity on that. That would be amazing.
Greg, sorry, I don't know if you wanted to jump in there. I'm happy to take it.
Oh, welcome with either of you.
Yes, I mean, a short answer. Let me just read the question so I make sure I'm getting the answer right. Yes, we're dealing with cryptocurrency, assisting in the implementation of smart contracts on Bitcoin. So smart contract language will be a world first, which we'll be announcing. This isn't any surprise news that we're coming out with. We have been purporting this for some time now with our big reveal and showcase. But really, what the market wants to see, what the communities want to see is proof in the pudding. And that's where we open source, and that's where we get the media behind it. And this thing's going to take off like a rocket ship. Watch out for the end of the year. We're coming hard and fast. But just to answer your question, in short, we're dealing with cryptocurrency, assisting in the implementation of smart contracts on the Bitcoin blockchain 1 and 2. So layer 1 and layer 2. And we're going to take out Ethereum by doing it right. Yes, we're forging the path for Bitcoin, but we're not excluding traditional chains. We're all about ubiquitous access, giving everyone access into interoperability through Bitcoin, but also creating bridges to other blockchains. We're a full turnkey ecosystem, but our focus and vision and drive is building out the future of Bitcoin.
Greg, if I may also interject, it's important to understand from a technical standpoint right now that there are quite a significant amount of limitations that currently Ethereum faces. Yeah. More notably, the limitations within the Ethereum virtual machine, or as we call it, the EVM. Unfortunately, as fantastic and as decentralized as Ethereum tries to be, there is a massive problem that's coming to Ethereum in the sense that their underlying gas token, once it reaches a set point that's matched with a set amount of network activity, the network becomes unusable. It is unfortunately too difficult and too expensive to use the systems. And unfortunately, these massive gas prohibitations are really, really starting to impact all of the EVM related chains. There are a few services and there are a few solutions that are trying very hard to fix this, but when we compare apples with apples, and as we discuss from a throughput perspective, it's important to understand that all of the solutions that we're solving in terms of SCL radically reinvent the way in which we are looking at these codified and programmatic languages that is currently being supported by EVM. And more notably, every single solution, enterprise, bank, everyone's experiencing the same problem. So there is a massive opportunity here for us to disrupt the space by being able to offer a technically superior solution. And that's where things start to get very exciting.
Maybe you just want to elaborate a little bit there. I know you can't give away, all of it, Greg, but we were having a discussion today around, this kind of complete synchronicity of, good fortune, opportunity, the right timing, everything coming together at the same time, and what this really means for the future of decentralized finance, decentralized applications, and the possibilities.
So if we just look at the unique opportunity that's currently unfolding with Bitcoin, we've got both a regulatory opportunity as well as a technical opportunity. The regulatory opportunity is that fundamentally put is the ETF is currently in process, or should be we aim it, we guess it's going to be released within the course of the next sort of two quarters. That's obviously dependent on the SEC. I mean, we saw how the market reacted just with a little bit of fake news today. So there's obviously a significant amount of institutional interest, but more importantly, the retail investors at the moment are significantly aligned and supportive of this play from an institutional standpoint. When we look at it from an opportunity in terms of competitors, this is where things start to get very interesting, because coupled with the halving that's coming soon, every single EVM chain that's tried to do anything is experiencing massive problems as soon as you put one successful application on it, right? We've got a story to tell in that regard. I don't want to steal anyone's thunder on it, but we've broken a few networks that are public in nature that are supposed to be the supportive layer 2s. So we've been through the hard work of identifying all of these issues within the EVM space, and more importantly, identifying how these impact the systemic applications that are built on top of it. Because it doesn't help that Ethereum goes through massive amounts of fees. Every single application or ERC20 token that's minted on an NFTs too, it becomes almost unusable for anyone that's building on the ecosystem. So it not only impacts that base layer, it impacts every single tertiary layer around it. Now, it's only a matter of time until this happens again. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Now, when we look at this coupled with the sublime interest on BTC, the true decentralized nature, and the more important, elegant proof of work system that governs this, you've got almost an alignment of stars in the form of the ETF, in the form of the halving, in the form of the EVM support radically reducing, and unfortunately not exactly instilling confidence in the developers and the teams that are working at it. So it is a fantastic opportunity to have this level of technology and this proficiencies within the Bitcoin tech stack that not only services both layer 1, but also layer 2, and furthermore, any UTXO-based chain. This is where things start to get really interesting.
Guys, just also to announce and answer Peter's question. We were going to, sorry guys, just give me a second. Please clarify the Vara 100-to-1 DFT situation and what people can expect and when. So we were going to hold back this announcement. Anyone with a founder's pack now on the 100-to-1 swap, the company is going to gift the founders DFT tokens on 100-to-1 Vara. So anyone that has a founders pack now will get free DFT tokens in their wallet by the end of the month, by the launch of the Fusion One application, which you'll be able to stake. And that is a gift from the company to all the support and founders that have been with us since the start. And yeah, I hope that clarifies your question, Peter. Again, guys, there are a limited supply. But yeah, that I think answers the question.
I'm just going to pick up on one or two questions. I think we've answered those around pertaining the access packs, the current packs that are on offer at the moment, specifically in terms of the founders packs. We've showcased that value consistently over the course of the last showcases, and stay tuned for where we're going to then deep dive into the various financial opportunities that we're going to make available in the coming weeks.
Just to answer a question around the delivery of the game, as mentioned, the game will be going live now this month. We'll be a staged rollout in beta. I would also like to say that, guys, we're doing multiple world firsts. We're introducing a new blockchain that's going to effectively be the migration from traditional blockchains onto Bitcoin. Our technology now is benchmarked with billion-dollar companies. We are contributing so much value here on all fronts. The game is obviously an important part of our roadmap and process, but we will be doing this in stages to make sure that we're delivering the most value on our promise to the network. Guys, please bear with us. I promise you this is all going to come together as promised, but so much more. So look out for the announcements over the next couple of days, and we will be updating the network on what that release looks like, and you will be getting the links to our November event.
I don't know, Greg, do we want to do a number just closing? I see we've answered a great deal of the questions pertaining
yes,
to
guys, sorry, just to answer Luke's question. The moon, planet, and solar packs will be changing come November. That is correct. Just to answer some more clarity around the Fusion application. This is an application that you will download through the Vara platform. The Vara platform is a separate application. This is designed exclusively for our Vara ambassadors and affiliates. All the products that we create and ingest will be a part of the Vara platform where you can download and you can access.
Steve, just a question pertaining to the staking mechanic. Greg van der Spey, I think maybe some clarity on the token issuance as it currently stands now, vis-a-vis the ability to be able to stake. So we've made it clear that there are 4 staking opportunities, from access keys to Vara to DFT, and there is then an allocated pool that you're staking against. So certainly,
I'm not going to give away too much detail.
Yeah, I think we hold off on that for now, guys. I think we've released a lot of important information. Stay tuned. There's some huge announcements coming up. As I said, November is going to be our biggest showcase yet. This is the time where we announce to the world we're coming out firing. The media is going to be behind this. Everyone's going to know who this company is. We've been in the shallow waters for the last few months, and that's all strategic. We're not shooting the gun. There's the halving coming up with Bitcoin. It's all about timing. And we pride ourselves on running an ethical and sustainable business, and bringing true value to our ambassadors and founders. So we don't want to give away too much, but information will be released in the coming weeks. Guys, just regarding the staking pools and content and tokenomics, there will be updates to this. Again, information will be released to the network prior to the launch of the Fusion One application. Guys, everything that we're introducing now in November is going to be packed with value. It's going to give the ambassadors something really, really good to go out there and start propagating the system, providing real incentive and earning opportunities. We've designed this meticulously for your benefit, and we will be announcing it in the coming weeks. I think you're on mute there, Nick.
Sorry about that. I was going to touch on, there's 1 or 2 questions pertaining to subscriptions. And as we've stated all along, there are going to be a number of subscriptions that will tie to the game economy, as well as to access to the earning pools within the Star Vara Battle Royale. So that will be announced in the coming weeks, pertaining to how subscriptions are going to be bought and sold, not only from the ambassadors within the Vara network, but as well as opening that up to the gaming community. So we've had a lot of content pertaining to these subscriptions, and now they're coming on stream. So very exciting from that point of view.
Hey guys, we're going to give it 10 minutes for a wrap up, just to answer any more questions, and we'll have a hard stop at 8 o'clock South African time.
Luke. Greg, do we pick up on just those last 2 questions pertaining to the Battle Royale? Mike, do you want to talk to that? Sorry, not muted anymore.
Nick, sorry, which question specifically? The one
No,
around...
just related to the battle royale. That's all. Just those two last questions in the queue.
Luke, just to answer your question, we've got a number of features planned on our roadmap. I see you say, can we wager Vara in the battle royale? It is a plan on the roadmap with your Vara where you can play in competitions, but that's not something that we're implementing at this stage. You will be able to earn Vara through playing in battle royale tournaments, run on leaderboards, like the $1 million, which will be hosted come end of the year, where you'll be able to enter into that and you'll be able to win prizes and Vara through playtime rewards. But we certainly have those features on the roadmap. And I think there's also a question. We are looking to launch this in this specific product, the gaming product. We're launching the product in phases, as always communicated. But again, we're working on something that's so much bigger now, guys. You know, Star Vara is a key component to our strategy in kickstarting this economy through creating the internal game exchange, which we've always spoken about, from cosmetics to wearables, creating value behind these in-game assets and how that ties into this layer 2 innovation, which we've created on Lightning through instant payments at incredibly low costs, the efficiencies thereof, and all of that is being delivered into this product. But again, you know, if you looked at the roadmap, we're planning on introducing so much more. So we've got a number of other products that we're going to be bringing into the ecosystem, leveraging off the SCL technology. We've already got a lot of commitment from strategic partners that are going to be joining us. And you would have noticed when we announced the roadmap, we're also planning on launching our own marketplace, which is going to be delivered to the network, which is going to be a suite of products that the network will have access to. So there's a lot of exciting things that we'll be announcing on the November event, which we can't announce just yet. But I hope that answers your question.
And then Uwe, certainly we will be making the documentation attainable directly within the back office pertaining to the Fusion one pages, sorry, as well as the white paper on Dark Fusion. Yes, absolutely.
Thanks for that, Luke. Appreciate the message. Guys, we're very excited about what's coming. We're going to send out the link for the November event. Make sure we spread the word this time. This is going to be an extravaganza. We're really announcing some big news. It's, you know, this has been 2.5 years in the making for us. We're now at a point where we're going to be releasing SCL to the market. Again, it's going to be timed with a media roadshow. There's going to be a lot of attention around Dark Fusion and what we're doing here. This is a global play. We're an infrastructure play. We're changing the world of the Bitcoin ecosystem, the digital currency of the future, the hedge of inflation and digital currencies. And, you know, if you don't have Bitcoin, you should invest in Bitcoin. If you don't have DFT, you should invest in DFT. This is really going to be a future changer, guys. And I want to say that we're really proud of you guys, what you guys have done, the support, you know, all our top ambassadors, our top leaders that have stuck in there since the beginning. We appreciate you guys. And we promise you we're going to be delivering something that's going to change the world. That's it from me, guys. Any closing remarks, Nick, Mike?
No, just echo Greg. Inspirational as always, and yeah, we're just we're constantly, you know, building, innovating, delivering. So look out for the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, where, you know, things start to actually materialize in such a big way. Just can't be proud of what we've done so far. So thank you to everyone that's been on this call, really, and yeah, value everybody that we've been able to chat to today.
Christmas is coming soon.
Herschel, Christmas is coming, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you for those comments.
Great, guys. I hope we've answered all your questions. We've gone through the list. I think we have. Thank you for joining, guys, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers,
Cheers,
guys.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.